able to do the audition was because for 8 days I was by myself in the savannah, and I understood that I was an animal, like a little wild animal. So I thought, a little wild animal is not scared about audition.
And we're excited to show you the paper. You are the first audience, I think, anywhere to actually watch it, so very, yeah. Give yourselves a hand for being lucky sons of bitches. So we have the stars of the show to bring out right now and talk about how this all came together. So without further ado, let's bring them out. First up, Alex Adelman. We got Gbemisola, Ikumelo. Nunez, Ramona Young, Melvin, Gregg, Frei, Sabrina and Domhnall Gleeson. I talked to Domhnall earlier today, and he's like, "It's okay if you fuck up my name, but I tried. I hope you're proud of me."
No, you fucked it up.
Domhnall.
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, I'm working on it.
Great.
So, well, guys, this is real now. You finished shooting a while ago, so it's probably been a lot of anticipation. I'm finally unleashing the paper on the world. So, what does it feel like to finally have audiences watch it, laugh, and really the response so far has been pretty strong.
It's lovely to see all of you. And it's lovely to see all of you. We haven't seen each other, everybody, at the same time since we shot, so this is actually kind of special for us too. So thank you for being here.
So wait, did you guys laugh?
We heard laughter coming from the crowd, so we've got some Dunder Mifflin t-shirts in the audience. I see some real fans here, so that's fantastic too. The one and only Oscar Nunez is in the house. Along with this fantastic cast. But for all of you, we know Oscar's history with the show, but for the rest of you, first off, a lot of you have these weird connections to the OG office. Like, Domhnall, for example, you kidnapped Steve Carell at one point and held him hostage.
In a TV show, yeah.
That's true. But it was pretty realistic. So,
thank you.
And Ramona, you've worked for Kelly Kapoor.
Yes, she's the best.
On a TV show again. But for all of you, I'm kind of curious what your sort of background has been with binging The Office through the years. Your thoughts on what the show, Chelsea. I know the show meant a lot to you.
Oh, it did. It does. I think I was telling you earlier that I used to watch The Office like deathly hungover on Sundays when I was in college, and I think I've binged every season like a ridiculous amount of time. So it's very surreal to be in this show.
Yeah, and to be a part of this sort of continuation, this new cast, this new story. Domhnall, for you, what did you sort of know about what you think of the U.S. office originally? When did you pick up on it? And what were some of your memories of sort of watching that show?
Well, I was crazy about the UK office, and then I was crazy about the US office. I think I came to the US office a little later. I don't know when it was broadcast in Ireland, but I came to it a little bit later. And I just thought it was beautiful in a totally different way, and funny in a totally different way. And massive fan of Gregg Daniels. And so when they kind of came with this, and I found out that Coleman was doing it too, it was like crazy, but brilliant.
Yeah. No, and it's something that I know people have talked about for a while. Would there be a continuation of this universe? And the idea that Gregg and Michael kind of put together is something that honors the original, but also is a completely different show. And no one here better to talk about that than the one and only Oscar Nunez. Hi, Oscar. So take us back to when you first heard that Gregg was looking to maybe revisit this universe, but B, he had your character specifically in mind as sort of the bridge from the old world to the new world.
Yeah, and you all know who Greg Daniels is, and he's more than just the guy who gets me coffee. Seriously, yes, he does that. He takes care of my dry cleaning. He does things like that for me because I've been with him a long time, but he does much more than that. He is, in fact, showrunner. And him and Michael Coleman.
The confidence for that bit is crazy.
It's the truth. And Michael Coleman, who happens to be married to Ellie Kemper, and he's known for his gams. He's got beautiful legs. He's known for that. But he also is a great creator. So, listen, Greg and I have lunch like regular people. It doesn't matter where. Sometimes Beverly Hills. Sometimes it doesn't matter where. They're nice places, is what I'm trying to say. And one of those times, he said to me, "Do you mind if I'm thinking of a show of a newspaper, and would you mind reprising your character? I'm thinking of," and it was just like that, like a couple of sentences. I said, "No, of course, I don't mind." And we kept eating, and then he would bring it up, like a couple of weeks later. And then one of those times he said, "Come meet the writing staff," and I'm like, "Oh, this is happening." And met the writing staff, and Greg Daniels likes to walk and talk, and we're walking, and he started talking more about the show, and he said, "We're thinking of casting people, and we have Alex Adelman, this guy out," and I'm like, "Alex, the guy who did Just for Us," and he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh shit," and he's like, "Yeah, we got it." I'm like, okay, that guy's funny. And then we started, we kept meeting, and then Domhnall Gleeson's name came up, and then he mentioned Sabrina, and I'm like, "Yeah, White Lotus." And so the cast is there. I know I show up. Well, I asked someone else, because I could just keep going and go. Suffice to say, when I show up to work, Paul Lieberstein's there. Toby, right? He wrote an episode. He's directing. So it's a wonderful kind of extension of the opera. It's its own thing. This show, as you guys saw, it's a completely different show with wonderful, wonderful talent. Domhnall Gleeson, not too shabby. My wife made me watch the episodes. I didn't want to, but she's like, "You have to watch them because you're going to go do this Q&A." I crammed them in the last couple of days. And my 12-year-old, a couple of things happened. Every time Sabrina would walk onto the screen, my 12-year-old would laugh so hard that she would fart. And my wife and I, she really looked at it closely. She goes, "Some of those scenes with Domhnall and Chelsea, I want to say, is that? Yeah, some of those scenes, they were difficult scenes to do, but these guys were so talented, and he's just so talented that they pulled them off. So, I mean, it's a standalone show, nothing to do with it. It's a wonderful show. I think people should watch it.
I wish I could. I wish I could remember what I actually asked Oscar now. I don't recall what I asked you, but that was a great answer to whatever I asked you. So, and I love also that you were playing so hard to get with Gregg. Like you required like superstars on this cast before you would commit.
People say, "Hey, what did you think of that script? What made you do that?" As if I have a choice to say no to work. I'll do anything, unless it's porn, unless it's horrible. Like, I'm not going to do Christian stuff. So if it's a Christian porn, if it's Catholic porn, or Christian, I'm not doing it. But other than that, I'm doing it. If the basic is, I'll do it.
What about Jewish porn? What about just two people sitting at a table looking at each other, and one guy's like, "How about?" and the wife is like, "No," and then it ends. So yeah.
And Oscar, is your agent here tonight? Does anyone have any pitches for them? Sabrina.
Yes.
Tell
Hello,
us.
Tutti. Bye. Hi. Hello.
I mean, you mentioned Sabrina, of course, in White Lotus. Just stole like that season. Every scene you're in, you're fantastic. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Can I tell you something? Because I I'm here, I really want to thank you guys with all my heart, because I have a SAG award in Rome in my apartment because of the SAG Ensemble award that we got, and so this is a great occasion to say thank you. That was a dream.
Everybody, my friends are leaving. Lucy and Stella, say bye to everyone. They're from Texas and they're failing their board and they're leaving. They're leaving. Bye, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Oscar, what is happening? What is happening?
I know Lucy since the Groundlings, 35 years, and I invited her when she came with her daughter Stella, who just got into USC. But they don't also they had to leave. They're gonna go to Dan Tanner's to have dinner. You know what? I swore I was gonna stop doing cocaine, and I did some tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. Again, I'm gonna stop talking. Go.
Oscar really wants that spin-off. He really wants that. He's pushing that spin-off. So Sabrina, what did you sort of know about The Office? How much did you watch over the years, or when this opportunity came? What was your relationship with the franchise?
So I had no relationship with the show because I hadn't seen it before. And so when my agent called me I was entering in a plane coming from Cape Town to Rome to Italy. And she called me, she said, did you read the email? It's time sensitive. And I said, I can't, I'm almost lying. She said, you have to read it now. And I read it, and it was The Office. And I heard that it was a legendary show. I heard it was legendary, but I haven't seen it. So, because I only had 24 hours to get ready for this audition, 11 pages of monologues in English, which I don't know if you can see, it's not my first language. and so on the plane, I met The Office for the first time in my life. And I watched these episodes, I thought, this is a very weird show. Very weird. I didn't get it right away. At first, it was, I thought, is this serious or is this funny? And it was so real, so believable. So I didn't understand if it was a documentary with crazy people, funny, but also weird. So I thought, no, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not able to do this. It's impossible. I can't get this role. It's just impossible. And then I arrived home and I had to do the audition. And I didn't want to do a bad figure, and I was feeling so in awe. And after watching the show, so I thought, because I was in South Africa, I thought, I am an animal in the savannah. I'm not an actress. Like, the only way to be able to do the audition was, because for 8 days I was by myself in the savannah, and I understood that I was an animal. Like a little wild animal. So I thought, a little wild animal is not scared about audition. A little wild animal doesn't give a fuck about The Office. A little wild animal doesn't care if Gregg Daniels like the animal or not. So I think that I'm just a wild animal and that's it. So I started the audition on Zoom from Rome to LA, and these 5 huge luggages, much taller than me, they were looking at me because I couldn't even touch the luggages. Anyway, this is another thing I have to shut up. And so there was Gregg Daniels, Michael Conan, then there were the producers of The Office, Peacock, NBC, the casting director. I was fucked. Completely. So I thought, I'm a wild animal. I started the audition. I had learned the lines, I think. I started with the lines, and then suddenly, black. Everything was so black, like I couldn't remember not even one line. And I thought, okay, I just keep talking because I feel that Esmeralda would talk a lot. And so I said a lot of bullshit, so many bullshit. And then for 40 minutes, I didn't hear any sound. I thought, oh my God, I'm done. And then suddenly, they all appeared. Like they said, Sabrina, we had muted ourselves. You were so funny, and that was so good. And I was like, really? Thank you so much. I can't believe it. They said, can you do the audition in 2 days now, like with the memory? So I had to do everything from the beginning after 2 days, you know. So, but now I'm here, and this is a miracle. I love the idea that I can make people fart.
I'm gonna warn the affiliates we're going long, and because I just want to talk to this cast all night. So I hope you have nowhere to go. You all are amazing, and Greg clearly was okay with the fact that you'd never seen the. Matter of fact, it sounds like that's what got you the part.
I don't know, because you know what happened? I did the audition, and then I said, let's keep watching The Office, you never know. And then everybody disappeared in my life. Like, I didn't hear from Greg Daniels, from Michael Corman, no one. But I became addicted to The Office. And I couldn't stop watching it. And every day I had to watch at least 3-4 episodes to be able to go to sleep. Because it was a mood-changing thing. And I needed it. I needed it. And then I thought, Alex, what's happening? anyway, it's incredible. But 1 month after becoming addicted to The Office, addicted also to Steve Carell, like, I think I developed a crush on him. A big crush.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm not like...
Have you seen him lately? He looks pretty good. Like, if you saw 4 seasons, he looks really good.
Oh, he looks incredible. You know what I did? I don't want to talk so much. I just do this because when I got the role, I wanted a blessing. So I wrote to Gregg, can you please, if you're still in touch with Steve Carell, can you please tell him that I think he's one of the greatest artists on this planet? He said, yes, I will tell him. You know, he's in Broadway now playing Uncle Vanya. I said, really? And so in that moment I thought, I have to go to New York. And so I bought the tickets. I went to New York. I bought the tickets to go to see Uncle Vanya. Very expensive tickets, very expensive. And I went on Broadway. I went to see the show. I saw the show with him. I couldn't believe it. And then I went to the green room to say hi. And he was the sweetest. You can't imagine. He was hugging me. And then he said, you're going to be great, you're going to love it, you're going to have so much fun, you're going to love Gregg. Gregg is a genius, he will make you feel so good. And I felt so blessed that I felt a bit better after that. And then...
Yeah, I don't know. I was joking that you kidnapped Steve Carell. I think Sabrina may have actually Steve Carell.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm worried. I'm a little concerned.
I'm concerned too.
But that's all amazing. And you know what's so funny about binging The Office? I think I bet a bunch of you have binged The Office like 5-6 times by now. Oh yeah, I see a lot of head shaking. That's just to show that, and you're going to be able to binge the paper as well when it comes out on the 4th. Yeah. So let's talk more about just being cast. So Domhnall, you know, this idea of becoming Ned, of sort of being the focal point of this new series. What appealed to you about this character, and what made you want to be a part of this world?
I wanted to be a part of it because Gregg and Michael had written it, and because it was about journalism, and they care about it. And even though the journalists in this show are not good journalists, they're trying. They're trying, and I think there's something good to be said about that. It felt like a noble pursuit. So that felt good. And then I also really wanted to be part of a great ensemble in comedy, and I know that Gregg is particularly brilliant at building that. And as we all got to spend time together and looking down the line, I think all these actors did an amazing job, and as it goes along and you get to know their characters, I think I fell in love with our ensemble as we went through, and I think people will as well, and I think we should hear from some of them now. I think we should talk to some of them.
Exactly. Well, I will say, and Chelsea, we should talk about Mare, because, you know, in some ways she's the first to really see the spark in Ned's eyes on what this could be. She's a burned out journalist and sort of has given up a little bit of the spirit, but this is the first time that she's kind of felt alive again, and that's sort of what's fun in seeing, you know, in those early episodes. You know, she kind of gets it, and you know, it's fun to see that relationship progress between Ned and Mare. But also, what do you make of your character, and how, you know, there's, for the first time in a while, some life in her again?
Yeah, it was so fun to play, and I think it's really nice to see how her character kind of almost immediately changes with Ned coming in, and the cynicism she kind of had, and him being this foil to her with his optimism, and it made for a lot of fun to be had with our characters, because I think we both kind of want the exact same thing but go about it in completely different ways. And yeah, it was very fun to play.
Yeah, and I love, you mentioned earlier that your Nana was actually a journalist herself, so in some ways this is kind of paying a little tribute.
She was. My mom is here, and it was her mom. And yeah, she worked for, I'm from Andover, Massachusetts. She worked for the Andover Townsman her entire life. And, you know, I remember when I was in the school play, she goes, I got you in the paper. It was very, very exciting, very famous. But no, when I started auditioning for I can't even say that because we didn't even know it was about a paper yet, but once I found out, I was just so excited, and then to get to actually research journalism and meet with local journalists, it was very full circle for our family.
Yeah, no, it's and you all put in the work too. I should mention that Domhnall actually went to Ohio, and you know.
You say that like it's a really tough thing to do. He actually went to Ohio.
Well, I'll say this: it was very embarrassing, because I went into the writer's room, and I had 3 notes on who Mare was. I was like, oh my god, I'm coming in so prepared to meet the writers. And they were like, oh, have you met Domhnall yet? I was like, no, where is he? And they're like, oh, he's in Ohio actually meeting with journalists. And I was like, oh, okay.
Early on, that was his you know, Sabrina, that was his safari, you know, and he's sort of discovered.
I'm an animal, yeah. In Ohio.
Shit went down. Well, Melvin, tell us a little bit about, I love that you're wearing the Truth Teller hat.
That's cool.
You're repping, very nice. Talk a little bit about what this means for you, and to join this ensemble. I mean, this has got to be just, you know, sort of a great moment.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be a part of it. I'm very happy to be a part of this cast. It's a very funny cast, as you all can see. But yeah, a lot of the roles that I did prior to this one, they had a lot of things in common. So I kind of made a checklist at the top of the year of the type of things I want to find in my next role. And this checked a lot of the boxes. So when it came, it just kind of felt right. And I've been in love with the format, the mockumentary format, for a while. So it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because, you know, Oscar, obviously, you know well how that mockumentary format works, looking at the camera, when not to, sort of playing with that. What was that like for the rest of you? You know, anyone sort of, was that a learning process? How did you get used to the idea of sometimes you have to have that look, that sort of like, you know, eye roll look in the camera. Sometimes you have to be frustrated with the camera. The camera is suddenly a character, these documentarians. So what was that like for you to kind of learn that process?
It's just another character in the room. I think as we went through the process, one of the great things was the directors who just got us all to really look to each other, listen to each other, and be in tune with each other. And the cameras are part of that dynamic. It being viewed while you're listening, while you're embarrassing yourself, all that sort of stuff. Our 2 camera operators did an amazing job, and they're just part of the cast as well, I think, is how it felt generally. So we had to learn that together, and I think as the season goes along, it just grows and grows, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, for me, I found it really difficult at first, that sort of letting the camera in. It wasn't until I got my first talking head moment where I got to sort of sit there and just talk to it and engage sort of face to face, that I went, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can look into the camera and not die.
I'm curious for Gbemisola and Alex, since both of you are also writers on the show, how did you learn to kind of incorporate that and write those spots?
It was interesting from a writer's perspective because sometimes, you know, Gregg is very big on the logic of the cameras as well. Because sometimes you watch a mockumentary style show and the camera's like right here and the character's like, I'm cheating on my wife, and you're like, you wouldn't say that with a camera right here. And so if you'll notice there is logic to where the cameras are and how open the characters are to disclosing things. And if they have to say something that's a little bit of a secret, there'll be like a bit of a spy shot. And so writing that was really like, I remember I turned in a scene and Gregg was like, would Oscar say that with a camera right there? And I'm like, no, he would not. Does Oscar like the cameras at this point in the season? Like, no, he does not. And so it was a really interesting learning curve from a writer's perspective as well. But it's a lot of fun. It also, getting to see this really talented cast from the best seat in the house. You'd write a scene and then you'd watch a character spike the lens. And you're like, oh, that's gonna be really fucking funny. Oh, pardon. But it's gonna be really freaking funny watching everybody like find jokes where you hadn't even anticipated they would. It was really kind of beautiful.
You're on streaming. You can say fuck it if you want.
Yeah, okay. It's really fucking funny, isn't it? Hey, what's The Office? I've never seen the show. It's I know that it was from the State Farm commercial. That's
it's very strong. For the both of you too, The Office obviously had a strong sort of history of writer-performers. And what's that like for the two of you to kind of continue that and straddle both? Gbemisola, for you, what did that mean for you?
I mean, I love it. I think I get a little bit of a cheat code because I get to sort of spend more time with the character than everyone else. So I'm supposed to come in and feel a little bit more like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing with this character. But I struggled with this because I don't know why. I kind of was scared of Adelman and sort of pitching the story for her. I felt a little bit maybe like, I don't know, like, oh, I want it to be all about me, and so I tried to sort of devoid myself from kind of and engage with all the other, parts, and then I realised that, oh no, you need to advocate for this character at some point as well. And then maybe very late in the day, I was like, okay, this is a Bible, and this is the character. Everyone read it, and then I started, and that allowed me to sort of develop some quirks, like the costume for Adelman changed almost overnight from a kind of very sort of beige sort of to just like fly girl with bright boots, and I'm very proud of that, honestly.
I developed my character based on what I thought would be the most annoying thing for her character to sit next to. Genuinely, she's like, my character's like cool and disaffected, and I'm like, what would she fucking hate to have like a really super like doofy dad with a bunch of toys on his desk. By the way, there were like the toys started to vanish from my desk as the crew got more and more annoying. I know you're not saying it's not true.
And he became obnoxious with those.
I was not obnoxious with those toys.
Shooting random people with cameras around. He was shooting bits with.
There's a Nerf gun that is part of my character. And Kelly, one day she was like, I came in for episode 6, and she's like, the Nerf gun's been written out of the show. And I'm like, I know. She's like, buy me. It was one of the ADs was like, there's no more Nerf gun. But if you look closely at my desk, they are the most annoying toys, and there's a Swedish toy called the Beakborg, where you put a marble at the top and it hits every board on the way down. And the crew fucking hated this Beakborg.
Not just the crew, Alex. Everybody hated that toy.
It was a blast. But it's really fun. These are the most amazing actors. They're so versatile, and I think the writing, I don't want to speak for the writing staff, but it was just candy to get to create for them, and by the end of by the end of 10 episodes, I think all of us were like, oh, wish we had 10 more episodes, and all the writers are feeling the same way because we really get to know our characters, and I think as the season progresses, you're really going to fall in love with the folks on this stage.
No, I think it's so true with all these characters. Ramona, for example, Nicole, as she starts to find her voice, and is just not Sabrina's lackey anymore. Talk a little bit about that, and you know, what you love about your character, and how you got to know her.
I was really excited to start playing Nicole. I've played a lot of like bigger than life characters, and I feel like Nicole is probably someone who I relate to personally the most. And I don't know, I thought it was really special because it was an opportunity for me to let the guard down and to be vulnerable and authentic and really just like authentically respond. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and the other thing, of course, that we see is the chemistry that's brewing, you know, not just like romantic chemistry, but also friendship chemistries, you know, talking about the two of you annoying each other. But then, you know, there's also, you know, Ramona and Melvin, there's some chemistry going on with your characters. What's that been like to kind of explore that? What can you say? Gregg is not here. You can say.
Nah, I thought it was cool. I was excited to embark upon that journey. I feel like when you have, I don't want to say, when you have someone you're interested in as a character, there's more of a dynamic to play as an actor because it's not just about you, it's about somebody else. So you have to nurture that relationship, and I think we all had the privilege of kind of helping to write our characters, because when it came to us, there was no breakdown of who the character was. It was just a script. So we had to figure out who this person was based on the script. And a lot of who I based Deshik on was someone who was in love with Nicole. So it played a big part into who he is.
Yeah, no, it's fun to see all of these. Then, of course, there's that Ned and Mare question. But there's chemistry there, so...
There is not, no.
Shut that down right now.
Yeah.
There's a NBCU sniper on you right now.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think when Ned arrives, his main romance is sort of with the paper. That's all he can see, and the only person he can rely on is Mare. And she's better at her job than he is at his. He just doesn't know it. And I think that's a cool place to start. It's like a relationship of equals, while also being a boss and an employee. It's sort of like an interesting mix of the two things.
Yeah, they're very, very different. I mean, it's hard to see, you know, why they kind of band together, other than the fact that they both just love the idea of this paper. So I don't want to give anything away as the season goes on, but it's fun to see them kind of embark on making this paper better, and her growing and how that changes their dynamic as she grows into herself more as a journalist, and also just how much he, you know, annoys her because he's such a nerd. But the character, not as you. It just led to like a lot of fun to be had, I would say.
Yeah, and then of course there's also the fun of Esmeralda sort of sticking her finger in things, and that's the kind of antagonist that we didn't really have on The Office. This is sort of a fresh take on things on the paper, and that's one thing that makes the show really original. Is Sabrina comes along and she ain't having it, and she's crafty, that one.
I'm very different from Esmeralda, and I promise, I swear. Like, to me, I'm so transparent and I'm so direct because I'm a wild animal that it's very hard. I have issues because of too much transparency and too much wildness. I say what I think, and to me it took really a big effort to understand how someone could be so manipulative and so sneaky and do the worst things in that horrible way. I thought, she's a monster, she's a bad monster, and how can I make her likable? So I thought the only way, I had this intuition, I saw the bird, like another animal, but this is Tweety, you know. Mi è sembrato di vedere un gatto. That was in Italy. So I thought, Tweety, he is so nasty, he's a monster, he's horrible, but he does that just to survive. Huh? Sorry?
Tweety Bird from South Africa.
Tweety Bird, yes. But he does to survive. Now, as a child, I was terrified by Tweety. He was terrifying. And this little bird, and I have very little, but I can be terrifying if I want. And I thought, that's the thing. She does what she does to survive. She feels threatened by everybody. She's on constant war. Everybody could be the enemy that, you know, she's bad at everything. She's not good at anything. She doesn't have any idea about journalism. Nothing.
Wait, now let's make this takeaway. In it, Sylvester Tweety Bird matched your team Sylvester?
I'm sorry, what?
You root for the cat in the Tweety Bird?
No, shouldn't I?
No, she's saying that Tweety Bird does the evil things that he does, which are sometimes a bit because he doesn't want to be eaten by the cat.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly. And then I thought, Esmeralda doesn't want to leave the U.S. Esmeralda, she wants to be the American dream. It's like Sabrina, she doesn't want to go back to Italy now. No. I mean, of course I love Italy, come on guys. But to be here, it's more, it's beyond the dream. So this is what they have in common. That's the only thing that we have in common, me and Esmeralda. We don't move from the fucking US. No.
I can totally relate to that because when my character is gay on The Office, and I studied Snagglepuss, a closeted lion from Hanna-Barbera. Remember, he wore cuffs, and he was gay, but and so he helped me. I look at cartoons. When yes.
Who gave Oscar 2 microphones?
That's all. I just wanted to say Snyder was a closeted gay character.
A couple more things, then we will end this. I think Alice, you need to work with Sabrina on her own one-woman show.
Oh my God! In an absolute second.
This will happen. We need that to happen.
I would feel so lonely.
She's gonna be me. I want Sabrina to play me in my one-man show.
And also, Oscar, you ready to do this for another decade? You ready to do this another 10 years? What are we thinking?
Talk to my representation, but I think I'll figure something out at this point.
Well, I hope so. I hope we get to learn more about these characters for many more seasons, because we have a lot to unpack after tonight, I think. So, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to the cast of The Paper. All episodes on Peacock on September 4. So go binge, and then binge again, and then binge a third time. Thanks, everyone.